Hi everyone, I hope everyone is doing okay today. So today what I'm going to be showing you is how to sang your room, or how to burn and offer incense in your room to purify your environment. Now what I'll be doing is showing you some alternatives, some incense types, then some alternatives, as well as some different types of burners that you can use in your house, as well as how to keep your surfaces safe when you're burning incense in your house. I'll also be giving you a short explanation for why we purify our environments. Alright, but before we get started, what I actually want to show you guys are a couple of pictures that were sent to me yesterday of people's altars and people's prostration setup. So the first picture I would like to show you is actually an outdoor Dorji Shukden altar. What I love about this altar is the fact that, number one, the offerings are abundant, so there are many candle offerings and many food offerings, and lots of incense being offered. And the second thing is the rocky outcrop behind Dorji Shukden. I find that very unique, very creative, so just wanted to share this picture with you guys, maybe to give you some ideas for how you might want to set up an outdoor altar for yourself. The second picture that I would like to share with you actually was sent to me from New York, and it is someone's prostration setup. So what they've done is they've put up a Formica board on the floor, and they have volleyball knee pads to protect their knees, and then they have a towel for their hands. So when they go down, they put their hands on the towel, push out, bring their hands up, go back down on the towel, and then come back in again. So that's how they've been doing their prostrations. The volleyball knee pads protect their knees, the towel is to make it easy for them to slide out, and the hole on the side of the Formica board makes it easy to carry the board. So this is another setup that you guys might want to consider for yourselves when you are setting up to do prostrations in your home. Okay, so offering sang. What does it mean to sang our room? What does it mean to be sanging our room? What does it mean to be performing sangsol? So sang refers to incense, and sangsol is a traditional Tibetan ceremony of offering incense, and it's usually performed outdoors during religious festivals or during celebrations such as weddings or birthdays or Losar, which is Tibetan New Year. And sangsol is usually performed in an outdoor structure known as a sangpur, and sangpurs are usually built in mountains or at the top of hills, basically in a natural environment where there may be nagas or elementals or local deities residing in the area. So the first reason for why we perform sangsol, or we offer sang, is to purify the karma that's been accumulated as a result of breaking samaya. Now, samaya is generally defined as the spiritual relationship between a spiritual teacher, a spiritual guide, and the student. And what it said in the text is that if a practitioner is very good at maintaining good samaya with their teacher, or a practitioner is very good at holding their vows, there is a scent that is akin to incense that emanates from their bodies. They smell very beautiful. So another time for when sang is offered, or when sangsol is performed, actually is to clear obstacles. So you remember the other day in the previous video when I was talking about the 8 things that you can do from your home to stay healthy, I talked about an incense called Ganding Kempa, and how Ganding Kempa is known as an obstacle clearing grass because it's offered to clear obstacles. So this is the same thing as that. Now, Rinpoche would always instruct for sang or sangsol to be performed before we were going to start any new project, or before we were going to go into a meeting, about to start a meeting, or before Rinpoche was about to have an audience with people. And Rinpoche would instruct for sang to be offered to purify the environment and also to clear obstacles for the participants so that they can engage in the project or in the meeting or in an audience and receive the blessings and receive the Dharma with a clear mind. Sang can also be offered to purify our environment, and it's not a strictly Tibetan tradition to use incense or to use scent to purify one's environment. For example, in many native cultures around the world, they will also do the same thing. I know that there is a traditional native practice of burning sage and using the smoke that comes from the burning sage or the smoldering sage to do what's known as smudging a room. So the person will get a bunch of sage, dry sage, burn it, and then have smoke wafting from it, and use the smoke to go around the house and fill the house or fill the room or fill the environment with the smoke to dispel any negative energies that may be lingering there, and to revitalize any lost or dispel any polluted energy that may be lingering in the environment. Alright, so what can you sang? You can sang your home, you can sang your room, you can sang your office. Here in Kechara Forest Retreat, we sang the gift building where we work, and we sung Dukkha apartments every day. Another place that you can sung is actually construction sites. So that is one of the pujas that's very, very popular with our outcall puja house team, where the team will go to construction sites to consecrate the land and consecrate the project before it starts, and to invoke Dojo Shukden's aid and Dojo Shukden's blessings for the project to go smoothly and to be obstacle free and to also be accident free and to keep everybody safe. So after all of that talking, I guess what all of you want to know is, what can you do? How do you burn sang? Alright, so I'm going to show you guys now very quickly some incense types that you can use, as well as how to get started. Alright, so of course there is the Ganding Kempa incense that you guys saw the other day, but there's also stick incense. So usually the stick incense is used, hold on, let me get this. Usually the stick incense is used as a starter for the sang offering. Alright, so stick incense, get yourself some stick incense, and then get yourself some kind of grassy type of incense. Traditionally herbal smells, more foresty herbal smells like juniper or cedar or agar wood or sandalwood or myrrh, frankincense, herbal, foresty, grassy smells. Traditionally those are the ones that are used, and the incense should be animal and cruelty free. So what Rinpoche really liked was, Rinpoche really liked the Tibetan type of incense, because Rinpoche found that they had a very fresh and natural smell when burnt. They didn't have this chemical after smell, and they didn't smell toxic. They didn't have this toxic smell lingering. So Rinpoche really liked using Tibetan incense. Alright, so first get yourself some stick incense, okay? And then get yourself some kind of grassy, herbally, woody type of incense. So I have here this. This one came from Tibet. It was it's from flea market in Wisdom Hall, but this particular one was gifted to me by Pastor Shin. Very sweet of her. She came one day because she heard that I was starting a retreat, and so she offered me a packet of incense that I could offer in my room to clear obstacles while I was doing my retreat. So this one looks a little bit like Gandeng Kempa, but it's slightly more powdery. I don't know if you guys can see it without it spilling out. Okay, so it looks like that. How do you store it once it has been opened like this? You can store it in a Ziploc bag, or if you're like me and slightly bougie, you can store it in a jar like this. Sorry, there's a packet of coffee inside because I'm going to make cold brew coffee later. But you can store it in a jar like this, mason jar like that. You can store it in one of those IKEA, you know, jars with a handle, but basically something as airtight as possible so that it doesn't lose its scent, and also so that insects don't get into it. So this is one type of incense that you can offer. Now another type of incense you can offer along with the stick is, of course, juniper. So I told you guys I like juniper. So you can offer juniper. It's got a similar scent to the Tibetan one I just showed you guys, but this one is larger. It's not as powdery as the Tibetan one. So juniper comes in many different grades. There are some sellers online who will sell it with a lot of fillers, so it won't burn as nicely or as cleanly as the ones from Kechara Paradise or from Vajra Secrets. But just be a careful and acute shopper when you're online, a discerning shopper when you're buying your juniper online. Make sure that you get something that's good quality. The incense that you offer should always be as good quality as you can afford, because it's an offering to the Buddhas. Alright, so juniper is another type of incense you can burn. Another one that I like to use because it produces a lot of smoke is sandalwood. So this is sandalwood powder. So generally what I'll do is I'll light the incense sticks, and once the incense sticks are smoldering, then I'll put the juniper on top so that it starts to get the smoke going, and then I will sprinkle this, a couple of teaspoons of this on top of the smoldering incense to create a lot of smoke. Alright, so this is another type of incense that you can use, which is sandalwood powder. And then finally, you can offer another type, which is this. So this is Ganga Sharu, which looks like that. So what I'll do is, again, burn the stick incense, the juniper, and then I'll sprinkle some of this on top. Just depends on what I'm feeling like that day. Okay, so Ganga Sharu. There are also other types of incense, like you can offer resin blocks of like frankincense and myrrh, which Rinpoche also really liked offering. And you can also offer different other types, like, you know, you can offer like chips of wood. So I know Vajra Secrets has cedar wood or like yeah, they've got wood, like wood sticks, like, or wood chips that you can actually offer in your incense pot. All right. Okay, so incense burners. What kind of incense burners can you use? Now, most people will have an incense burner that's like this, which is the long type of incense burner, and these are very convenient because they actually fit the stick incense, which I have somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, so these actually fit the stick incense inside, so you don't have to break it up into smaller segments. All right, so many people have this. Some people will use something more elaborate, which is something like this. All right, so obviously in this case you will need to break up the stick incense into smaller segments, but some people will use this, which I also realized looks like a very Catholic type of incense burner, but I can assure you this one's a Tibetan one. All right, so the benefit of this is that you can actually kind of swing it around, which actually helps the oxygen to move through the incense, and helps you to generate more smoke, and helps you to also direct the smoke around like this. Like I said, very Catholic. So some people choose to use incense burners like this. Personally, for me, whilst these incense burners are very beautiful and very traditional looking, I prefer something that's a little more earthy. So I've actually gotten myself a ceramic pot, and it's this. Okay, so lots of holes for adequate air to go through so that the incense keeps burning, but I can also cover it while I'm not using it. Large enough that I can fit a lot of incense inside. The holes are a bit of a concern because sometimes incense does spill out. So what I usually do is I usually burn it in something like this. So I will put the incense pot or incense burner inside the Indian tray. Inside the Indian tray, or inside a smaller metal plate or something. Basically, in case any incense kind of flies out of the holes, or in case the incense burner gets too hot, the Indian plate will protect the surface. You can use anything you want, more decorative ceramic plate or whatever, but basically the Indian tray or the Indian plate is to protect the surface and to prevent anything from burning in case incense does fly out. I've seen people use flower pots with the hole at the bottom of the flower pot plugged up so that the sang doesn't fall out of the bottom. I've seen people use much nicer ceramic pots than the one I have here, but basically anything that can keep the heat, introduce oxygen, and allow the incense to continue burning and to let smoke come out. You can use all of those methods, all of those types of burners, whatever suits you. But basically use the best vessel that you can afford. As I have said before, and I will keep repeating over and over and over again, when you're making offerings, always offer the best that you can afford. We always offer the best unto ourselves. We always buy the nicest phone, the newest phone for ourselves, the nicest car that we can afford, the nicest bike that we want, nice clothes. We always buy makeup, we eat good food, so we make a lot of good offerings to ourselves. So when it comes to the Buddhas, why not we shift the generosity from ourselves and shift it towards making offerings to the Buddhas, making offerings for the benefit of others. All right, so incense burners, incense always offer the best that you can afford. Okay, so there's one final thing which I put on my incense when I sung, or when I sung my room, and I didn't mention it earlier because it doesn't fall into the category of incense or incense burner, and it's actually protector rice. All right, so this is rice that has been, let me show you guys, rice that has been blessed by Doju Shukden when he takes trance of His Eminence the 7th Panglun Kuten, Panglun Oracle. And what happens is when I burn the sang, or when I offer the incense, I put a couple of grains of rice onto the incense so that it burns, and you got to make sure that it burns. It's no point putting it on the side of the pot where the rice doesn't reach the heat, or the heat doesn't reach the rice. You got to put the rice directly onto the heat. You have to make sure that the rice burns. So this is something that Rinpoche always advised us to do as well every time we offer sang, especially for purifying environments, especially for clearing obstacles. Sometimes in very, very serious situations, especially in the cases of things like spirit disturbances or haunted places, or places with very, very heavy, dark, negative energy, Rinpoche would advise for a protector not to be burnt as well in the sang. All right, so I don't do that because I don't have a need to in Kechara Forest Retreat, but I do burn protector rice as well. Some other people will burn pills. Some pills are meant to be burnt, and then the resulting smoke is used to purify the environment. In certain cases, especially with people who have very strong faith in their teachers, who have very strong faith in their teachers, they might even burn a little bit of their teacher's hair, especially when they're in very dangerous situations and they wish to invoke upon the blessings of their teacher to protect them. People with very strong faith in their gurus might even burn a little bit of their guru's hair to dispel the obstacles, to clear the obstacles, and to invoke the Buddha's blessings, to invoke the three jewels blessings for protection. Alright, so there are a variety of things that you can burn when you're sanging your room. It also depends on the situation, but as a daily general sang offering for your in your room, as a daily general purification for your environment and your room and your house, all you really need is incense burner, incense, and maybe protector rice. Okay, so I keep talking and talking and talking, but basically all you guys really want to know is how I end up burning stuff, right? Because you're all pyromaniacs. I'm kidding. So how do I offer sang? Alright, so first thing you got to do is you have to set up your incense pot. If you have a brand new incense pot and you haven't got anything lined at the bottom of the pot, what will happen is the incense sticks probably won't burn properly. So you can either get some ash and lay it at the bottom of a new pot, or you can put down rice grains. Alright, so you can put down a thin layer of rice grains at the bottom, and then you can put your incense sticks on top, and then that will help the incense sticks to burn. So running the risk of burning down my room, I will show you guys now how to offer, how to sang your room. Alright, so you start out by having the incense segments broken up, and then you light them. You should generally light them when they're not in the pot. Okay. In a very humid environment like Kechara Forest Retreat, what tends to happen is that the incense sticks soak up a lot of moisture. Alright, so generally what I'll do is, not only will I light the ends, but I will also kind of do this to dry out the incense sticks so that they burn more effectively. And then now that the flame has died out and it's just smoldering like that, then what I'll do now is I will scatter the juniper on top. In this case, because I like juniper, I'll scatter it on top, and instantly you can see that there's a lot of smoke. All right, oh, it smells so nice. Okay, what I don't do is I don't pile a lot of sang on top of the incense, because I don't want to kill off the incense burning. All right, so I will start with a small amount to really get it going before I keep adding more and more and more sang on top of it. Now, at this stage, what you can do, you can already go around your room or your office or whatever and blow the smoke everywhere. But at this stage, sometimes I will add sandalwood powder or add the ganga sharu. At this stage, what you can do is also, if you have any, is add the protector rice. All right. So in this case, let me get out a grain of protector rice. And you see where where's my fingers? You see where it's burning and it's all black already? Then I put the protector rice there. So at this stage, when the smoke is really going, when the sang offering is really going already, then you just pick up your sang pot and then just go around the room like that. Alright, so go everywhere, and you can either recite Om Ahom, or even better, you can recite Dorishukden's mantra, Om Benza Wiki Bitana Soha, and make sure that the smoke that's coming out of the incense pot is reaching every corner of your room. Don't miss out any corners of your room, alright? If you want to encourage the smoke along, what you can do is you can do that to blow the smoke in a certain direction, to encourage the smoke in a certain direction. But yeah, basically at this stage, you can already go and do your sanging of your room. Just bring it around like this, alright, so that the smoke gets everywhere. And of course, eventually, whatever it is that you're burning inside will start to die down, so you will obviously need to add more sang. So the other benefit of having the incense burner on an Indian tray is that you can keep some additional incense sticks on the side, right? So when it's nice and going like this already, you can sprinkle more juniper on top just to keep the smoke going. Alright, So I hope you guys enjoyed what I had thought was going to be a short sang video. Like I said, most of it is common sense, but you would be surprised at how many people struggle to get enough smoke coming out of their sang pot. Alright, I've seen people like just have like a couple of whiffs of smoke coming out and then try to sang their room. Or I've seen people like with 2 sticks of incense and sang their room. Rinpoche always said that you need to create a lot of smoke. It has to be as smoky as you can get it. Alright, so I will show you guys a video right now. It should be playing right now, of a sangso that was being done in Tibet like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And it was a sangso being performed to dispel obstacles related to COVID-19 and to purify the environment. Alright, so as you can see, the Tibetans really create a lot of smoke. You obviously don't have to do that in your house, and I think if you did do that in your house, your neighbors may not be very happy with you. Actually, speaking of neighbors, I have a story to tell you guys. So, what prayers can you recite while you're sanging your room and bringing the incense pot all around the house like this? You can recite Om Ahom. So you can go Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. This is when you're making offerings. So let's say you're making offerings in your altar, you can go Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. If you're going around your house to purify the environment or to dispel any lingering polluted energies, you can recite Durishugen's mantra. So Om Benzang Wiki Bitana So, Om Benzang Wiki Bitana So, Om Benzang Wiki Bitana Soha. Or you can recite your Guru's mantra. So in our case, it would be Om A Guru Ki Daza Shasandara Virya Siri Hom Hom. Om A Guru Ki Daza Shasandara Virya Siri Hom Hom. Om A Guru Ki Daza Shasanadara Virya Siri Hom Hom. Alright? So as you're doing this, just make sure that the incense and the smoke permeates your room. So you can do this, to encourage smoke to travel in a certain way. Alright? I hope you guys found that video useful, interesting, I don't know. But yes, like I said, God, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please leave me a message or a comment down below. Show me your incense pot setups. A few days ago in a previous video, a friend did show me his sang offering for Medicine Buddha, and that was a very large outdoor pot. Very modern day looking sangpur. Alright, so do send me pictures of your incense offering setup. I would love to see it. Thank you guys for watching, and as usual, please continue to like, to share, to subscribe, and to leave us comments on our videos. If you have any questions, we will get back to you as soon as we can, answer you as best as we can. If you have any requests for things that you would like to see, please let us know and we will try to get on that for you. And I guess that's it from me today. I'm sorry that it was a little disjointed. I was getting very excited, obviously, about sanging, because my room smells incredible now that I'm burning juniper. So thank you guys for giving me an excuse for making my room smell like juniper, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.